Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, August 11th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will still be moving, and the candlestick you see will be moving around. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, NVTA, and what an absolutely monster move. And this is exactly why I like to do these when the market is still open, because as I speak, you can see this final 30 minutes is exploding. This thing just went up over $8. So just an absolutely monster move, and volume was already strong, but check out the volume that's occurring right here during the latter part of the day, which just goes to make a very, simplistic but powerful observation, and that is there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now, and that's the whole idea of a watch list, is to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not just randomly buy them, but to watch them, to observe and see if they do behave in a way that ultimately fits your personal trading strategy. So as far as NVTA is concerned, when you have just absolutely monstrous movement like this on good solid volume, which you can see down there, it's worth at least throwing out there, hey, is this going to continue into Thursday? Now, maybe it doesn't. Maybe this thing just all of a sudden, pulls back and falls into oblivion. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it does. And maybe all of a sudden, tomorrow or on Friday, we're going to be saying, geez, remember that thing? Remember when NVTA was down below $10 and now it's up above $10? So once more, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But my point here is that from just the angle of the philosophy of a watch list and to find unique, to find interesting situations, NVTA is certainly one worth watching on Thursday. Next one, TTOO, did this one yesterday, and what an absolute turnaround. Now, unfortunately, it never quite got down to the area where I was thinking it could, but it just all of a sudden snapped back up, which goes to show when you're talking penny stocks, you never quite know what's going to happen. But with this big recovery today, in my mind, it's very valid. It's more than plausible to think that that's going to draw in quite a few eyeballs watching it tomorrow. And they're going to be wondering, okay, can this big movement continue? Is there going to be a further breakout to come? Which is what brings this interesting area up here at essentially, what's the problem here? There we go. Let's change that to red to represent more so a resistance. And that's going to be an area that a lot of people are watching, rightfully so, right up around 0.1575, so 15 3/4 cents. And I realize it's kind of annoying when you get down at the penny stock range. But yeah, sometimes you have these bizarre price ranges. But, 0.1575 is going to be that key level that a lot of people are watching. So call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. But when you have levels like this that stand out, it's more than valid to think that if the price can come up there and break up through it, that breakout in and of itself could very well create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. Again, no guarantees, but that's certainly a plausible thought process to have. And in my mind, that's the main dynamic on this one, is due to that big recovery. Got to think that it set off alarm bells, and a lot of people will be watching. So let's see if it can indeed get the breakout on either Thursday or Friday. Next one, AMC, and as has been the theme, we're going to continue on with that theme, but the theme being those interesting, those unique situations, and not randomly rush out and buy, but to watch them. And what is the unique, what is the interesting situation in this case? Well, those of you that have watched past videos, you should be able to answer that because you know that I've drawn that trend line in place, and we've been watching it, and lo and behold, you can see right here, the price has finally been able to actually break up through that trend line, which leads to a very valid question. Is this the start of something bigger? Is this breakout just getting started? Is there more momentum to come? That is certainly a question worth asking and worth observing moving forward. So if you like to play trend line breakouts, if you like to, sometimes people want to see the breakout and then see if there's any sort of confirmation and follow through, then this is certainly a situation that fits that protocol because you got the nice break. Now it's just a question of can more momentum show up? And I'm sure I'll say this again, maybe it doesn't. Maybe things will just roll back over because there are no guarantees, but we're playing with a two-sided coin here. And maybe this is the start of something much bigger, and then all of a sudden this thing continues to skyrocket back in the upwards direction. So got the trend line break. Is this the start of something much bigger? Let's see what happens. Next, HLBZ, and nice movement here, although things did pull back. However, this is what brings about a level that I think a lot of people will be watching, and this will mean a bit more of those that have watched the past videos. But you know that I've talked about this level down here at $1.40 for basically the past couple videos, and right here, the power of charts. I mean, literally talked about this level a couple days ago, and then yesterday went down there, found some support, and then got a nice solid gap up. So even if people would have bought that pullback there, they would have been rewarded this morning after that gap up, which just goes to show the power of charts, which brings us full circle because once again, with the pullback from those highs, this green line here is once again coming back into play. But the difference here is that purple line there, which is the 50-period moving average, keyword being moving, and that's why that level has moved itself back up to right around that area. But now you kind of have a double whammy of support at $1.40. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that the $1.40 will for sure guaranteed hold strong, but nobody could accuse you of being crazy for thinking that it could hold strong when you have these couple areas of support that are just aligning like that, given the nature of a moving average. So keep an eye on $1.40, looking like it's got a good chance potentially come into play once again on Thursday. So we'll see how it holds in turn, or if it holds, I should say. And then as far as those areas of resistance are concerned, next key trend line to keep an eye on is going to be that level right there. But in my mind, I think the most interesting dynamic here is $1.40 getting tested and whether or not it holds. So let's see what happens. Next one, RBLX, and you got to give credit where credit's due. Very, very impressive turnaround. I mean, to think that this thing gapped down, and then during that opening 30 minutes, dropped down there, and then the next 30 minutes, dropped down there, and then after that, just basically straight up the rest of the day. So a very, very impressive bounce. Nobody can refute that at all. But now that leads to the question of, well, is this bounce actually strong? Does it have genuine power behind it? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And I'm going to define genuine strength as just showing the ability to make progress. So let's actually change this to green to represent a support area. So that defines, okay, well, how are you defining progress? And I'm defining progress as staying up above $46. Because think about it, no price can go straight up, as nice as that would be. But if the price comes down here, bounces around, and then works its way back upwards, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have lows down here. You'd have lows there. You envision those as stair steps, and you have nice stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And that's what you want. That's what a truly strong move is going to do. Nothing goes straight up. But if the price comes down here and just crashes down through it, what do you have at that point? Well, now all of a sudden you'd have the price having gone right back to where it started. I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine power, true strength, are not going to go back to where they were. They're going to show signs of progress moving forward, which again, the quote-unquote sign of progress in this situation being right up there at the $46 mark. So yeah, very nice bounce today. Is it a truly strong bounce? Let's see if the price can show those signs of progress. Want to take a quick break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying the video and what you've seen, you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, and quite frankly, why it's such a powerful tool, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Next one, PLUG, absolutely monster move here. And I mean, that's certainly one of the reasons why I like it. You got to like stocks that have a good, solid upward momentum. But just from a pattern standpoint, you got to think a lot of people are watching this pattern. So as I draw this pattern, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that I'm the only person that's noticed these levels. You got to think a lot of people have noticed these levels. So let me get the pattern here drawn up first. Again, change that to green to represent more so the bullish part of the pattern. And then maybe make this all the easier to see. And the reason I'm emphasizing a lot of people noticing this is not a special skill or a special, secret discovery is when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing. As I mentioned earlier, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So as far as this pattern is concerned, we have the resistance, we have the support, we have the huge momentum move right here. For you golfers out there, we'll make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here, and this would be a bull pennant pattern. So as I've said, no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can come up here and get a break up through the top part of that pattern there, that could create good, solid upwards buying pressure and continuation? That is certainly a plausible thought process to have. So if you like to play bull pennants, then keep an eye on PLUG. Next one here, CCL, and same general idea, which is why I wanted to put it immediately after the one we just talked about, PLUG, because I don't want to repeat myself. So think self-fulfilling prophecies, think patterns that a lot of people are watching. And when you have a lot of people watching patterns, as I've said, it can lead to those self-fulfilling prophecies. So there is the level of resistance. Here is the level of support. Yes, there is a bit of a downwards channel right now that's forming. But the key here is that this downwards channel is forming after a whole lot of upwards momentum. So here is all the upwards momentum that occurred. So yes, there is the downwards channel as I'm drawing right there, but this has now created a bull flag pattern. So bull flag, bull pennant. I mean, you don't want to get caught up too much in the semantics, but the point here being is that there is a lot of upwards momentum, but there has been a pullback, and there can be power in those patterns. So if you are somebody that likes to play stocks down around this price range and you like bull flag patterns, then CCL certainly fits that criteria. Next one, TSLA, Tesla. like this one, try to trade it on a daily, not necessarily try to trade it, but I'm always watching on a daily basis, and I oftentimes do trade it. But so I want to just map out a couple levels that I'll be watching headed into Thursday that I think a lot of other people will be watching. And the first level here is just late day area of resistance that has popped up, sitting right up here around, let's just call it the 884 mark, 885. So 885, very near term level of resistance, but you can see several times the price has gotten up to that area, and the momentum has just disappeared several times during this late afternoon activity. So worth a watch with the logic that if the price can finally push up through that level, that could be the signal that, you know, that selling pressure is finally gone, and that could allow the price to just move up that much more. So keep a close eye on 885 in the near term. And then as far as next potential areas of resistance, let me actually squeeze this out here a little bit. So I want to get this trend line in play here. So that's another area which essentially shows that this area, I guess I didn't realize that until I got the trend line in place there, but yeah, this 885 mark has just become actually that much more impressive because that trend line is basically right on top of that area right there. So yeah, 885, even much more so than what I just realized, seemingly is going to be a very important level of resistance headed into Thursday, so keep an eye on that. If there are any sort of pullbacks, then the main area to watch is going to be that line down there, which represents the 200 period moving average. So a bit ways away, but you can see last time the price got around that general area, it held very nicely. But yeah, in my mind, definitely the most interesting dynamic is all about that 885 mark, and can the price break? So let's see what happens with it. Next, BCAB. I don't know if I've ever heard of this ticker symbol before today, but definitely worth keeping an eye on tomorrow, as this afternoon really came to life once again, which is what's creating the unique situation. Because, yeah, opening part of the day, nice surge of volume, and then volume just essentially fell asleep. Nothing was really going on. And then, of course, this afternoon, the volume just came pouring back in, remained consistent, and the price got a nice move upwards. So it's really just a question of, is this breakout that occurred late day afternoon going to carry into more momentum? So it's worth keeping an eye on it for that. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, nothing fancy or complicated here. Just really a question of where did the price, kind of finally run out of momentum today, and that was up there at 735. So keep an eye on 735 as far as resistances are concerned. If you're somebody that likes to play pullbacks, and an interesting pullback level in my mind right there around the $6 mark. So keep an eye on that green line right there. And who knows, maybe some sort of bull flag forms. You'd have the resistance, you'd have the support. But again, that is early stages, so I mean, maybe some sort of bull pennant form. His point here being, though, is that as of now, these are two very well-defined levels, that resistance there, the support there, and it's just a question of, what's ultimately going to happen, whether there's a breakout, whether there's another formation that occurs. But at the core, what we mainly care about, especially as traders, is, hey, a huge amount of volume showed back up. Very nice price movement showed back up. So let's see what further happens with it on Thursday. Next one here, AMD, and this had a very, very interesting setup here, as all afternoon price basically went slow. But what catches my eye the most is check out last 30 minutes. Huge surge of volume. However, look at the candle that followed through. Really not a whole lot of anything. So nasty move downwards, and then slowly crept upwards, and then to end the day like it did makes you go, what? That's kind of weird. But as has been the theme, what's the philosophy of a watch list? To find these unique, to find these interesting situations, and then observe them. So this very well could be some sort of leading indicator. I don't know, and like right now, 100% speculation mode. Was some sort of like hedge fund or somebody getting loaded up right here? I mean, what was going on? How do you get that amount of volume and that small amount of a candle? Again, call me a conspiracy theorist, that's fine, but at the core, that's what it's all about. Finding those situations where you can almost form conspiracy theories and then just watch them, observe them, and see what happens with it. So if this is the start of something bigger, then in my mind, the key breakout area to watch very closely is going to be up here at that potential trend line, which is from a few days ago, right on that area, which puts the breakout point right up around, let's just call it the $100 mark. So keep an eye on that trend line there, but yeah, interesting movement, massive volume, small little candle. Let's see what happens with it on Thursday. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, and certainly get signed up for the free live training. Like I said, it'll be very soon, Thursday, August 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. If you're watching on YouTube, like I said, there's a link in the description box. If you're watching on my site, then just click on that area there to get signed up. As far as this video is concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you'd like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out with some basic feedback. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment. Say hi, tell me what you're trading tomorrow. But those two things go a long way in communicating to me that you're enjoying. As long as I know people are enjoying, I will continue to make these videos. So again, thanks for watching. Get signed up for the free training. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment. Everybody take care and have a good one.